How you guys doing today? Today is May 24th, 2021. My name's Evan. Welcome to Fifth Third Trading. If you're new here, Gremlin joins us for every episode. Now again, I'm not forcing him here. He's out there having the best time like this, but I want him to get a good shot and be a famous cat. Here you go, bud. Ugh. If you're new here, welcome. If you been here before, welcome back. If you are new, congrats. You are a man or a lady, because again, we support financial literacy for everybody. A lady or man of culture with these great memes you picked. Shout out to you. If you are new, I'm going to show you technical analysis. I'm going to show you 8 tickers a day with fantastic technical setups. And again, these are my finds, my structure, my system that I enjoy. You must make your own to be fully successful. You must do what I do to be successful. But then again, take pieces out of what I do and make it your own. I'm going to show you supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, I know, EMA lines, volume profile, stochastic, RSI, and vortex. Those 9 things make up my system. From there I make entry plans, exit plans, holding plans, scaling in, scaling out, over the 10 confirmation, under the 10 validation, whatever it may be. Second to last, if you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy cats, if you enjoy cat, look at this, all right? If you say this guy sucks, but you like cats, look at, subscribe for this. All right, well, what more would you possibly want than a strong 6, week 7 kind of guy and a 10 out of 10 cat talking about stonks? Subscribe, like, comment. It does help me. And again, I want to get this information out to as many people as possible. I do appreciate it. Last thing is I do have a Discord chat. There's no reason to join now. The charges by the month, it's $5.24. I don't want someone to join and then get charged twice. That's stupid. And again, it's not perfect. So again, if you want to try the Discord for free, 8-day trial, I'll give you guys till June 2nd, so I guess 9 days. Give you guys a few days to check it out. No problem. Add me down below in the description box. Just add EvanMPressman, # 4698. Add me, I'll join you. Come check it out. Last thing, 2.0. I'm really good at swing trading. Oh, daddy, I'm so good. So I'm really good at swing trading, but day trading, crypto, long term, not the greatest. Now what I do can be applied to those things in different time frames, different holding strategies, yada yada yada, you get it. But if you like other YouTubers, go watch them. If you enjoy other patrons, go watch them, right? Go give them your money, go support them, go watch their videos, watch their ads. This is not exclusionary, non-robberous. You can watch me and all those other idiots who are not as good as me, but they try to be, right? Are they as oily in the face as me? No, I'm tired. I got into the state at 1 a.m. from a flight, got up at 4 for work. So we're dragging a little bit. But if you enjoy this kind of content, get strapped in. Here we go. Not awkward at all. Well, all right, with that being said, 8 tickers, let's check them out. So today we have 8 tickers. I've called, I think, 1 of these before. I know I called a go a while ago, but most of these are brand new. I think SBSW may be a one from November. But again, I want to keep it fresh with rotating sectors and new things. I want to really keep this going. So let's get into our first one. Off the bat, where is the charting? I know, same joke every day. Get used to it, I'm back. So off the bat, we have our supports and resistances. Supports will be white lines. Obviously, that's one. That's a beautiful support. Stops, resistance, resistance. Acted as support. No, it's not perfect. That's okay. You can lower yours. But then again, I have recency bias towards newer information. Bounce, bounce. Beautiful. First resistance, again, very easy. Sometimes they're not this close. Sometimes they're much more spread out. But data doesn't lie, baby. They have a gap there. Boom, boom. Easy resistance point. We also have our trend lines. Again, my head might be in the way for this full one. But again, you come down, you pull this bad boy up. We don't cheat in this channel. Some folks have to cut through price action. I do occasionally, but some folks would be like, yeah, it's perfect over here. Nope. You see how it hits right here perfectly? Once, twice, that's not enough, but I make mine in channels. We get a few extra moves just like that. Now it's once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times it survived. So that's a really good looking trend line. You have a whole area to work with. I like that a lot. The last thing we add on my charts is oh no, it's a little bit of white right there. So the last thing we do, just make sure it's good, is we're going to add our volume profile. Again, I have a whole video on this. It's what I use for volume compared to traditional volume. I'd use both when I scan, but when I'm presenting, I turn it off. It's in the way, and it gets different sizes. But we can see this is where 70% of the volume happens in between here. Again, good or bad, it depends on the ticker, but for this particular one, it's not bad at all. And this is our POC. It's probably the strongest support, the strongest resistance in this whole entire time chart. But it also is very gravitational. It's going to take all the information, all the data, and it's where all the volume happens. So again, people want to gravitationally move towards it because this is an agreed upon fair price. These, this month here, a lot of volume. Again, this may shift up to here. That'll be a good sign long term. Last thing that we do with AGO is we put the ticker itself. So I have it for screenshots later. Looking good. Turn our studies off. Bada boom, bada bing. It ain't no mother trucking thing. So AGO, off the bat, it had earnings. Run up to it. It had earnings that died. It's probably baked in. This price is probably baked into the cake. Again, folks sold when they knew they had their money made up, and now that's kind of consolidating sideways. AGO does this. Runs up, dies, consolidates. Runs up, dies, consolidates. You get the picture here. Runs up to consolidate. Runs up, dies, consolidates into value. AGO has a great chance of coming back down to 45.25, maybe even low as 44, and maybe even in the 43s if it really does die off. But this is a great looking support area anywhere in here. Traditionally speaking, with this kind of price action, definitely goes up, sideways, consolidates. Let's check out the resistance trend lines. Again, is it perfect? No, but we can see it's possibly some form of a channel. You could also probably say it's some form of broadening wedge. That's definitely going to be your trend line just like that. That's very nice looking. That hit perfectly. Let's activate it and see if it matches. So that's definitely a channel up. Again, channel ups are better than wedges up or anything else. Channel ups are super easy to read, especially when we look at like the S&P or like the NASDAQ. The S&P is an interesting channel up. The NASDAQ's going more horizontal. And again, I called these bounces fairly well. The Russell's going sideways, which makes it a lot easier to read too. But AGO is just like the S&P going straight up like this. Let's check the indicators. What's super cool about this channel, besides me, even though I'm super tired today because I flew in last night and landed at midnight, is that I don't check the indicators. I have no idea what the EMA lines, which I use the 10, 50, and 200, what the RSI is doing, what the stochastic's doing, or what the vortex is doing. This is all raw. I have no idea what they're doing. You're going to see live what I see. It really helps the beginners out. Again, that's a cool feature. Like, subscribe, bell notification, comment how pretty of a girl I am. SpongeBob joke. So AGO off the bat, we can see a clear relationship between the 50 and the price. It bounces off the 50 like clockwork, and again, when it doesn't bounce, it breaks it. When it breaks the 50, that's a clear sign of value. Now, you have one bounce with the 200, but as of recently, that's 6 months, doesn't get near it, so it's not really relevant. As long as we're going up, that's a good sign. But as it breaks the 200, you must define what your definition of value is. As we can see, we're below it. See, it's being a resistance. It's stopping all this price action, right? You must define what your idea of value is. The reason is you have two options now. Because the 50 is above you and the 200 is irrelevant, you have two options. One, you're going to purchase this. Again, it's hypothetical, not advice. You're going to purchase this off of value. Use supports, resistances, charting. Wherever you think a good price is for AGO, you can purchase off of value. The second's a crossover. If price gets over the 50, that's a sign of confirmation that the trend on the 50-day chart or 50-day candles, less 50 candles, right, average it out, you're now above that, showing some life. The key is if you wait for value and you want to get a good value, you have to have a stop loss and a plan for that. If you want to have a crossover play, have to have a stop loss and a plan for that. Both. You have to decide. So if we're going to be waiting for a crossover, oh geez, you're going to be waiting for a crossover, this goes over and lives, your stop loss should probably be somewhere around 46.50 or probably 46.30. You should be over here. You wait for value, you want to get a little bit lower because you maybe think 45 is possible, 46 is possible. Your stop loss probably has to be around 44.80 or 44.50. So again, it comes down to your planning, but again, convergence and the system that I use is the structure to find the stocks, and then my system changes based on the setups. And again, that may sound complicated. If it does, it's because you're actually learning real shit. I'm not lying to you. There's none of this bullshit PLTR, Dogecoin stuff. This is like legit trading. Welcome to an adult. So AGO, RSI could be a bit lower, but put your cursor here. Let's just do this real quick. Watch this. Where's it at? Right there. Does it usually reverse around here? Yeah, it reverses a tiny bit lower, but again, most of the action's above it, so we can even take the inclination. that being this low, the average is probably somewhere around, 55. So it's probably near the average. Or below that, that's good. Stochastic is obviously fair. You want to see the stochastic definitely a little bit lower or showing some life. So again, according to the stochastic, we have a little bit of time to either have the blue cross over the red or curl north. You want to see that blue come down, show some life, cross over the red and keep going. That's a good sign of confirmation of reversal as well. But again, if you want to get negative 40, this does go for value play and comes down to here and it starts to show some life. That again, you can buy off of value. Bulls, bears, they're tied, they're consolidating. Again, we're going sideways. See how we're going sideways here? So again, AGO, a great setup. It's not as clean as some, but on a green day like this one, you'll love to see anything like this holding fairly well. No real big sell-off, looking good. AGO, it's worth a watch list for the rest of the week. It could be huge for you. Next is ALB, Albemarle Corpcom. Again, I am entertaining because of my charting, not because I can spell or read. 1-800-HOOKED on Phonics, sponsor your boy. Are they still around? ALB is a great looking triangle. Again, once, twice, 3, 4. This is a surviving trend line. Now again, if you don't want to take the prior price action into account, which is totally fine, you'll even see the recent price action is also lining up just fine and perfectly. We have also very gorgeous resistance trend line here. So again, this is probably a reasonable play to go with the 20-day average. You can see a triangle forming, and again, this is so much easier, harder for me to read. I'm not good at reading short term, but you can see it's an obvious triangle, even the 30-day chart. So I think the play here, for me, you have two of them. One, wait for the breakout. This bad boy breaks above this resistance, this trend line. It breaks here. You can then buy or wait for the retest, and then it's gonna take off, right? Second play that I'm personally gonna wait for is it comes down to value. You have your POC here. The POC, as I said, is where consolidations happen. You see how when you get near this red line, you kind of start jittering back and forth, boom, 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 really, really quick movements up and down, up and down. There's a high likelihood, again, no guarantees, a high likelihood it's going to pull it back down again. Now, it is interesting because you can see that we did this up all the way down, back up. So again, if this had a little bit more room to run up, again, I wouldn't get super excited if this does run all the way up because it did tap the bottom. But if it does come back down like 155 and some change, that could be a really great buy-in, maybe even 151 if it really dies off. But again, the play is going to be breaking this resistance trend line and then pushing for most likely the size of this right here. So you can take this and most likely you want to move about that. You're probably going to go for 180 for a real move here. So if this does break out, it could be huge. Great support area, great trend line. POC is there. I love it. Let's check the indicators. So off the bat, we can see the EMA lines are what? Directly in the middle of the triangle. Again, it's not statistically proven, or it's not even like a big thing in books, but I've always recognized on this time frame, the 108-day 4-hour chart, whenever the EMA lines, the 50 and the 200, if both of them are kind of towards the middle of the triangle, again, that shows great consolidation. And again, triangles and wedges are consolidation. So we're waiting for a big move here. I'm sure if I were to look down, yep, they're all kind of consolidating. So we're waiting for a big move. The EMA lines just, again, reiterate that. The 200 is going to be a great support here. If it breaks the 200, again, now you have value. Waiting for a crossover back above the 200 will be a valid play if it does drop. In the middle, in the middle, in the middle. Again, it's showing life, but this is a consolidation. The play here is to be able to capture one of these. Okay, you had like looks like, I bet there's probably some price action over here is a little bit higher. It probably did one of these. It busted out. We had one of these over here, like that. See this triangle over here? It busted out. We have a new triangle over here. We want to see it bust out. So again, the play is a breakout. So the risk versus reward without a breakout isn't the most logical, because if it does do like a small move, it's going to be a 1-to-1 risk versus reward, which is not what you want in the stock market. You want a 3-to-1 usually at least. But if we do have a breakout, this play, ALB, will be huge. Next is BC, Brunswick Corp, before Christ, whatever you want to say. Off the bat, a gorgeous trend line. Once, twice, 3, 4. Delicioso. Looking really good. What's also great, this is another great example of a broadening wedge. We can see right here, a lot of price action. Again, it hits the resistance trend line. This didn't make it. Okay, it didn't make it all the way up. So we can now assume that this pattern, this resistance trend line, is most likely done. Now we must wait for the new one. The support trend line is still intact. It's still running fine. You'll either have the supporting trend line not be tapped or the resistance trend line. A lot of breakouts that kind of go up, and then they kind of start hitting near the resistance trend line a bunch and then it busts out. That's the opposite. We can see that the supporting trend line is still very much intact. but the resistance trend line is not. So again, we're going to wait for the next swing high, because if we get like a swing high like this, okay, now we know there's probably a triangle forming. If we get a swing high like this, we know it's probably an ascending triangle. If we get a full move up that hits that resistance trend line, we know it's still alive. So again, broadening wedges, do your research. They're huge for technical analysis. This is a great support area. Again, it had a lot of price action. Stop here, stop here, stop here, and hopefully it's going to hold it up right here. Now, I wouldn't be upset if someone's like, well, my support area is actually down here. Sure, put it there. You think this trend line is going to break a little bit and come down to 95.50 or 95? That's great. Again, it's on you to decide. Dividends always lower the price of a stock. Earnings run up to a crash. That makes sense. It crashed, it came back, it crashed, it came back. Dividends, it crashed, it came back. So I'm not overly concerned for a longer term hold, but I don't like to have a high risk play. You know, right here, this does break down 2 or 3%. You know, I'm not upset about it. I'd probably cut it and buy in lower if I wanted to. But BC, it's great divergence. If the indicators show that, it may be a great play. Let's check the indicators. So off the bat, it has been tapping the 200 a lot over here, and then it never really came back down, and now it's tapping it again. Tapping it again. So what's great is this is a great sign of convergence, because usually there's some plays like what PSNL used to do or Surf they used to do, was that the trend line followed the 200 EMA line, right? I think TXN does that too. See how the trend line follows the EMA line right there? BC doesn't do that. BC's trend line is independent of the EMA line. So again, the EMA line will then, to me, lend an extra layer of support, because you're going to have traders who trade off of EMA lines. They have scanners that it's like price just crossed under or got near the 200 EMA line. They now see it popping up. But again, you have folks like me who do all of them. We can now rope in these people independently, have more bulls on our side. It's a good look. So it's independent, looking good. Trend line looks good. Support looks good. Even your Von profile line could be a great support here. Again, if it breaks down, 6%, I wouldn't hold it anyways. But again, if it does break down all this and you have all these layers of support, you knew it wasn't going to live in the first place. It happens. But a great support here, waiting for a crossover back over the 200. Never a bad idea in these kinds of plays. It's below 30. That's a great sign for sure. Again, there'll be folks. There's folks who RSI scan, and if they see this and it all lines up for them, again, nee, come here, big fella. We're getting some more bulls in this battle, like that. Divergence, it's fairly clear here, and again, it's not going to be perfect, and I don't love not perfect things. That's why I love myself. But it's coming down, and your stochastic, that's a good image. Stochastic is going sideways. See, it's going horizontal. That's coming down. Again, a bullish divergence. It is low. That's good. Bulls low, bears high. BC has almost everything you want in ticker. The only thing I do not love is that the support isn't as strong as you'd like. You want to see maybe this price action over here, like $4 or $5 higher. But again, BC, a great watch list item. I would definitely watch this week. Next is GCP. I love GCP, and again, it's a nice shout out. I like GCP not because it's a great setup, because it is, but one of our members in the Discord, Mike, not gonna use his full name. He's been trying so hard. He's been working so hard, and then he's been calling out some absolute bangers. He's been getting so much better. And he called us out today, and even I was like, shit, that's a nice setup. So again, even folks who lose more than they win, I mean, the progress is seen. Again, a great find by somebody. It wasn't me. Again, I'm cool giving credit to other people. Great find. GCP, I would be a tad bit concerned with the choppiness for a beginner trader, just because you see how long it consolidated here? Almost 24 days of nothing. See how long it consolidated here? No, 19 days. Right here, it consolidated violently for 20 days. This can get choppy really quick. You may be down here tomorrow. You may wake up and it's probably all the way down $23.99. It happens. So if you have faith in GCP, if the GCP Applied Technologies, if their fundamental due diligence lines up, it showed some life today. It did drop almost 4.5%, and now it's up almost 2%. It's very violent. A lot of these moves that are green have more than one candle. That's good news. Like this one doesn't, but 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Like there's a good chance if you have one green, you may have some more green. So that's a good sign of life right there. Again, lower, if it breaks everything, 3% you can get out. Maybe your support's a little bit lower, which would change that equation, obviously. But a full move to the top here, 3%, 5%, a 1 to 2, 2 to 1 kind of play. It's not too bad. GCP, again, a great trend line, a great support area. I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. And look at that. Let's get rid of everything. Again, right click, clear drawing set, yes. Don't leave. If you leave, you lose all the charting. Look at this. It breaks the 200 to show you value. When it gets below the 200, so far last few months, it's always come back. It's showing you that you have a good value. You want to wait for a crossover, boom, 0.8%, that crosses, it holds. Now you have a great risk management, because now if it breaks down again, you know you can cut fairly soon and not lose too much, then rebuy in if you need to. A 50 cross, not really worth it. It is important to notice though, it respects the 50 a lot. It bounces off it a lot. Your short-term price target being above the 50 EMA line doesn't make much sense. Now long-term, sure, but a short-term, you know, it hits 2 or 3% and dies, and it hits that 50 EMA line, you know why, okay? Again, it's low, good, R selected. Stochastic, I don't see any really super clear divergences. Now you have this. All right, that's a very clear divergence, right? That's beautiful. And the best part is there's no bearish divergence. You see how this lines up almost perfectly, like this comes down, and then this comes down. So again, it's lining up to be a good bullish divergence. That's a tasty snack. Bulls low, again, this doesn't really have much vortex action. Bears high. GCP, again, I'm not even as overly concerned with it being a fantastic play or like it's some magical one that's going to be great. But again, one of my members found it. He was proud of it. I was proud that he found it. It's a really good pick. Again, I would watch list it. If you can get it lower, great. But again, for a technical standpoint, a great play. Next is ICFI. ICF International Inc. Com. Looks good. Off the bat, is this a channel, a wedge, or what is it? We can see this is not, it lines up okay, but again, it's not perfect. Anywhere you come from, it's not going to line up well. This is a pretty muddy one. Now again, what I would recommend is always from the swing highs of the same move. And again, that would probably dictate that it's here, 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 here for your trend line. I'd probably come here, come over, and see not much lines up perfectly. Now you can see it's probably wedging up to some extent. And again, what's important to notice is that recently it's going sideways. Does ICFI consolidate for a big move? Yes. Sideways, 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 hits value, takes off. Sideways, 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 hits value, takes off. So again, I'm not overly concerned. You can even come over here and see this is probably just a good horizontal play. Now, if you want to play off of this support, you need another 1.2% lower. And if you're like, it's only 1.2%, dude, that's why you're carrying CCIV bags and you're here trying to get real help. Again, we don't know. We have a system and a structure. You're buying value or you're buying a crossover. If you don't have convergence, you don't buy shit. It is what it is. Welcome. So this is not good price for a value play, and it's probably too high here for a good value play as well. So you gotta see if there's any kind of crossover. I need ICFI. If I'm not confident in this trend line, which I would be, but if you're not confident in this trend line, you need a little bit lower. This is still a bit too high. You probably want another 0.5% lower. But again, a full move, 4% risking 2, not bad. Let's check the indicators. So we can see some value. What's really good about the overall price structure is that it broke the 200, broke it, didn't break it, tapped it, has not been back since. That's a great sign of recent strength. And again, no ticker is going to just be doing this forever. Like if you can find me a ticker over the last 5 years that does that, pointing in my direction. CAT is a great one for recently. ALLY has been taken off. Cake, there's a bunch that I've been doing on the 6-month, 8-month chart, but this will not last forever. It will start to break down eventually. What I also notice is the 50. It bounces off it like clockwork, and right now we're below it. You want to wait for a value play? Again, you must determine on your own charting and your own system where value is going to be. But you can also go for a crossover. You want to wait 1.42% and get above that and show some life and hold? Sure. Then again, move your stop loss up. You want to see it die and play out the value? That's great. The main difference between me and other people is that I don't predict the future. A lot of these YouTube folks are like, I think the market's going to crash, and then they plan their whole shit on it. I don't. I'm planning each individual ticker with multiple setups. Now, something like ICFI, I'm going to plan one. I will definitely be like, I think ICFI has a chance, and again, after due diligence, to cross back over. And I'm going to wait for the crossover play, right? If it does die, great. I'll go for the value play, right? I plan a big old game of 20 questions. If ICFI goes up, what do I do? A or B? From there, do I choose A and B or C and D or E and F, right? I play a big game of 20 questions. I plan like this. That's why I'm successful. That's why folks who follow me are more successful. Not because we try and predict the future, but we plan for the future. Fail to plan to fail. It's up to you. So that looks good to me. The RSI is exactly where you'd want it, maybe a little bit lower, but that's a fine place to be. I don't see any kind of divergences. It's going straight. That's good. Got my cat in a minute. It's low. Bulls low, bears high. Again, ICFI, I like it. We got to see if it's a better value play or a crossover play. We'll see them the next few days. I know some folks are probably worrying. Don't worry. The cat's here. Next is SBSW. Don't get near the microphone. Oh, no, big fella. Next is SBSW. What a gorgeous trend line and triangle. You're probably noticing right now that there's also the 4 boxes already put in here. That's because I actually called this before. I said, hey, it looks pretty good over here. Oh, Kerchoo, a really sexy 17% move. I was told I should probably highlight my wins more often. So again, there's another one that no one talks about. But again, here you go. So I'm going to keep these here for now just because I want to move them. Great trend line. Once, twice, 3 times, 4. And again, if you're watching this before, I bet you probably would have seen this. That's where I called it off this trend line. And again, it broke. And this is the key. I have such a great relationship with SBSW. I can now guess trend lines, find them, find supports. And again, I've been watching this for so long now. I'm fairly confident I can change trend lines like this and still be very productive. Anyone who wants to find new tickers every single morning with morning runners and gap ups, work fine. But again, if you have a 9-to-5 job, it doesn't. So again, building a relationship with your watch list and your tickers pays dividends for real. So a great looking trend line here. Great triangle. Now again, you should be a bit concerned of how well this resistance trend line's holding right now. Right, but the good news is it's definitely making more of a broadening wedge kind of setup. And again, this will give up or that will give up. So again, we're hoping that this trend line of the resistance gives up. Good, good trend line. It's holding a full move, gets you 4%, which isn't the most, but we're going for a breakout play. And again, a lot of folks, for triangles, you take the whole entire size of this, and you want to take it usually, and you want to take it and then be like, that's the move. So again, that's how most people do it. But SBSW, easy triangle. If it does break out, you should expect to see one of these bad boys, hopefully. And if it does do this, you'll do that in the exact opposite, hence a stop loss. SBSW, let's check the indicators. So it usually bounces off the 200. You should be a bit concerned that it does break it so much more often over here than over here. Right? That is, again, a good sign that we're kind of more going horizontal. And as I said, the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ are kind of breaking that trend and kind of going more towards a horizontal, like a 15-degree uptrend. We're not going as intense as we were. Now again, where are the EMA lines? Right in the middle. So again, this shows a good sign of consolidation. Do the indicators show that? Directly in the middle, directly in the middle, and it's a good value here. So that's a good sign. I don't see any divergences. That looks good. But SBSW, if it keeps doing what it's supposed to be doing, it breaks with a 200, it could be a huge play. I like it a lot. Next is SPB, Spectrum Brands Holding. Bum, bum, bum. Again, a really gorgeous uptrend. And again, they're not always going to be perfect. And again, some folks could find some they're not as perfect and make money. That's totally fine. I'm very picky about my trend lines. Off the bat, I don't think this is going to even get close to being a channel. No, see, it's not a channel at all, which then we can go for a wedge play. Look at that. It would have been a perfect wedge, but it broke out there. This is probably after hours, so again, I would not be overly upset about that. But again, you could also come here and see, doesn't line up either. So you keep trying to guess and try to find some holes. I think the play here is a broadening wedge, or sorry, a rising wedge. This is probably after hours. But again, I think our long-term move, 5 or 6%, so you're probably going to get out of this one if it doesn't break out higher, which is fine. Because again, we have a wedge right here. See this? This was once a wedge. And what did it do? Broke it and then kept going. So again, trend lines are always constant resetting. It all comes down to preference. It's up to you. But a gorgeous trend line, a beautiful support area. Keyword is area. Because again, I think it's valid. It's very valid. Say there's supports down here. Sure, it's a very strong support. But I also see this gap right here that also held support over here. So again, there's 2 or 3 great ones in there. It's showing life. Again, it may get a little bit lower, another percent, 1.3%, wherever it may be. It's red right now. I wouldn't rush in. But if it does kind of show some life and break this resistance and keep going, it could be a great sign. Let's check the indicators. We have a great 50 bounce. Again, the 200 is not going to be as important for some of these sectors and some of these tickers. Again, they've been on such runs that just them being below it is a great sign in itself. It bounces off the 50. It breaks the 50. We are currently at the 50. Another great time for you to practice this. If I were you, and again, I'm not you because You can't beat me, dog. I'm great. No, but if you want to really practice SPB, what I would do is, and this is just an example. Plan a crossover play and plan a value play. I would definitely go ahead and write it down. Even don't play it, just paper trade it, right? Be like, all right, SPB is right on the line here. Tomorrow at 9:30, I'm going to do a pre-market test, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Check and see what's doing pre-market. Wait for the first candle to hold around noon 30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, whatever time it holds at. If the candle's up here, I'm going to play like a crossover and set my stop loss and price target. If it dips farther, I'll hold up till I find value, have my value set, and then buy in there. Again, my system that I personally have, my structure is based off of convergence. But again, buying in, confirming in, validating out, and selling out are much different per stock. It changes, and again, that comes down to your own preference. So, great looking 50 play. Let's see what happens. RSI, it's in the middle because it's consolidating. In the middle, it's consolidating. In the middle, it's consolidating. So again, it's kind of making its own little baby triangle here. The DOI, once it breaks out, I'll make a big move either way. An obvious divergence here, though. Boom to boom. Boom to boom. Those don't match up. That's a good sign for you. SPB, I like it. Higher than you wanted to be than 8 months ago, but again, a great setup. Last is Tex. No, not Texas Instruments, but again, Tex. Speaking of Texas Instruments, hey-oh, we got our calculator money. Bump, 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 bump. What a move. So Tex, again, is a really good setup. A great trend line. Again, just because this up here, I bet we have a issue having a trend line, but I could be wrong. Yeah, you can see it's actually pretty good. It's a good looking channel. Now, again, I have no base over here, but I think, again, that's probably just fine. Again, you can see that this was a broadening wedge. It reset itself, and now I find something new. This is definitely becoming some form of double top, or maybe an ascending triangle if this makes a full move. We will see. But again, you see the double top, and that's why it broke this neckline, and it came down farther. That's pretty cool. Great support area. Again, keyword area. It can be anywhere in there. Earnings, it ran up afterwards. It came back down. It wasn't baked in the cake. It said, oh, that's pretty good earnings. Shit. And then it ran up really well. So I guess TEX, whatever they do, probably did just fine. Big stretchies from the can. Great support, great trend line. Let's check the indicators. Once again, we have some days where the 200 is super mightily important in all of our plays. And other days, it doesn't mean jack shit. It breaks the 50, and what's it do? Oh, it broke it. It came back. 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 We are currently breaking it, and now we're coming. Look at this. This is another great example for you. Again, if you're at home, I would paper trade this two ways. Plan a value strategy. Plan a crossover holding strategy. Let's see how it goes. If it's holding here, do you just buy in tomorrow and let it run? Do you wait for the first candle? What works for you? Again, you have to beta test these things, and then if you don't never try nothing new, you're never going to learn anything new. That probably sounded like an idiot, but again, it is what it is. RSI, it's low. It could be a bit lower, but again, I think most of the action's above where it is, so that's a good sign. Stochastic was negative 40, showing some life. And again, if you have a full move of stochastic left, you can get one of these bad boys like this. You should see, a good 2 or 3% hopefully. No divergence, that checks out. Bulls low, bears high. Tex, a great setup, and again, a great opportunity for you guys to learn something new and try something new. There you guys have it. 8 great tickers a day. Only took me 31 minutes. Not bad. So, if you enjoy actual content, you enjoy actual stock trading, actual due diligence, actual technical analysis, again, I suggest you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I have cats on deck. Look at the boy. Look at the sweet baby. Look at my cat. Meow, 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 meow. If you want to support us in our dreams, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. He looks terrified. There you go, buddy. Otherwise, have a good rest of your Monday. It's good to be back. I missed y'all. But hey, if you have the chance, just give a nice blessing, prayer vibe to the newly wedded Dr. Kevin Moss and Dr. Jen Moss. To you guys, all the happiness in the world. Have a good rest of your Monday. We'll see you guys next time. Hey, bud.